I'm a jerk. I didn't know we'd have to say it. Sorry, guys. Okay, and I wrote a lot, but I'm not going to try and read it. So, as Jason said, my name's Gaffney, and I'm an actor, which means at any given moment I am too old, too fat, too young, too thin, too white, which I've heard, too female, which I've also heard, and any given number of things that people tell you that you are that mean that you are not what they're looking for, which is really hard not to take personally, but that's part of the deal. And when I first moved out here, I was really susceptible to any advice and or things I was told, positive or negative, but I tended to believe most of the negative things more often. Also because I got asked a lot, well, when you're done doing that, when are you going to get like a real job? Which is still here, which is super fun. Don't ever ask an artist that if you are not an artist in here, which I assume most of us are. Anyway, so my thing has been just mental fortitude, as I'm sure it is for any artist that's in here, and there have been a lot of things that I've heard recently that I wanted to share. So first thing, my first audition out in LA was for a porno, and I did not know. Hold on, didn't know. Not that exciting. I didn't know. I have since learned how to read breakdowns. Didn't know what those were. And it's a long story that you can ask me about later. I could spend the whole time talking about it. It leads to good stories now, but at the time it was not awesome. And my parents still don't know that, so good for me. Anyway, so that is how I was first sort of baptized into LA. And then I started going to a bunch of workshops and getting advice from people about like, oh, this is how you network, and these are the people you need to meet, and oh, here's who you should go to for headshots and all that fun stuff. And basically what I took away from that is nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Nobody. Even the successful people don't know. And I have found that, per popcorn, it's just about finding a network of super supportive, super creative, awesome people and start doing shit with them. That has been the biggest takeaway that I have had, and some casting directors that I now know that I trust have all said that. They said, nobody wants to hire an out-of-work anything. So if you are good at what you're doing, or you believe that you're good at what you're doing, do it. Do it in a venue like this with supportive, amazing people that make you feel really good about yourself. Do it in risky places that there's not supportive, amazing people, so you can learn what works and what doesn't, etc., etc. And I've also learned that I liken Hollywood to a fraternity, that the rules keep changing on how to get in, and the hazing is always different. And because of that, it's like, if you find the right people to be a part of it with, then you're already in. That's kind of my thing. Anyway, so I don't know if you guys know who Ira Glass is, but he's someone that I really respect, and he's really smart, and yeah, you guys are smart, He has a really awesome podcast, and he talked, recently he got interviewed about some success that he's had that sort of propelled his career more forward, and I have to actually read verbatim the quote so I don't mess it up, but he said about art, because he was asked initially sort of how did you start This American Life is the name of his podcast, and he was asked how he started and kind of what it all meant to him. And what he said was, nobody tells this to people who are beginners. I wish someone had told me. All of us who do creative work, we get into this because we have good taste. But there is a gap. For the first couple years, you make stuff. It's just not that good. It's trying to be good. It has potential, but it's not. But your taste, the thing that got you into this game, is still killer. And your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase. They quit. Most people I know who do interesting creative work went through years of this. We know our work doesn't have the special thing that we want it to have. We all go through this. And if you're just starting out, or you feel like you're still in this phase, you gotta know it's normal, and the most important thing you can do is do a lot of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every week you finish one story. It's only about going through a volume of work that you will be able to eventually close that gap, and your work will be as good as your ambitions. And I took longer to figure out how to do this than anyone I've ever met. It's gonna take a while. It's normal to take a while. You gotta fight your way through. So I love that advice, and I love him. And so that's sort of my thing. Just do it. Start right now. If you're thinking about doing a project, if you're like, I'm not sure, or maybe this isn't good enough, because we as artists are hyper ridiculously insanely critical of our own shit. Stop being that way. Start doing it. And that's the basic thing that I take away from Hollywood, because like there's a ton of money in like life coaching or classes or shit that we've all spent thousands of dollars on. Like if I take this class, I'm totally gonna book work. I'm I'm not bagging on classes. There are respectable universities, there's respectable classes. I've learned a ton more about myself than anything else in classes, so take them if you're intrigued. But just start doing shit, create shit, find people you love, work with them, film it, put it up. It's probably gonna be enough that it makes you laugh, and that's enough. Anyway, so I gotta find my spot, sorry. Okay, so that's kind of like, I've spent a lot of time like pining for opportunities or thinking like, oh, that person over there has a lot of success, and like, ooh, bummer, not my time, like, and that can be super distracting. So I have some statistics that make me feel better. Make you feel better. Julia Childs, who I'm sure you guys know, she's a chef, which I consider a form of art. She started cooking at 32, and she became a master chef at 51. Catherine Houston, who I don't know if a lot of you know, she had made a lot of fame with Desperate Housewives, doesn't matter. She moved out to LA after she was a prominent RN back in the Midwest, and she started acting in her 50s. And she was a single mother that got left by her husband when she moved out here. Melissa McCarthy, who you have to know if you don't know her, brilliant comedian, super funny, awesome, was in Bridesmaids. Anyway, she got told over and over and over and over and over again when she first moved here that she was too ugly, too fat to make it. And in interviews, she won't discuss her weight, which I love and think is so amazing. And she obviously has a wonderful, ridiculous career now, which is really inspiring. And then, I'm sure you guys probably have heard this one before, but Michael Jordan was kicked off his high school basketball team. I'm sure you guys knew that, because he wasn't good enough or something. Weird, right? Yeah. And then, 64.2% of small businesses fail within the first year, and 25% of restaurants fail within the first year without ever reopening their doors. None of this matters. Art is completely subjective. Do what you want to do. Keep doing it. I know that a lot of us in this room are artists and wouldn't be happier doing anything else. We've probably had those moments where like, I'll just be, not bagging on teachers, but I'll just be a teacher or a lawyer or all of these other super fun things that we like know that we could sort of be fulfilled with, but wasn't really why we moved out here. And my takeaway from Hollywood is don't let it talk you out of whatever it is you want to pursue in whatever realm, even if it isn't art, if it's being a teacher or whatever else. But act as if, do it now, stop waiting. That's my thing.
Yeah.